Hey, adrenaline junkies. Welcome to Mind Rush. Get ready to dive into heart-pounding chases, jaw-dropping action, and the most thrilling moments caught on camera. Let's get your heart racing. On June 3, 2024, in Volusia County, Florida, an FHP trooper attempted to stop a Chrysler 200 on I-4 West near mile marker 121 after spotting it speeding and making dangerous lane changes. But the driver never showed any signs of slowing down and instead kept pushing through traffic, turning what should have been a routine stop into a high-speed pursuit moving toward Orange County. The Chrysler kept flying westbound through traffic, squeezing between cars and forcing drivers to move out of the way as troopers stayed right behind it. And by that point, it was obvious this driver had no plans of stopping. As the chase moved into Orange County, troopers started setting up to end it before someone got hurt. But the driver kept pushing through traffic with less and less space to work with as things continued getting tighter. Near mile marker 86, troopers finally moved in and performed a pit maneuver, sending the Chrysler spinning hard across the interstate before it came to a stop with heavy damage. Officers quickly surrounded the vehicle and took the driver into custody, later identifying him as Wilfred Ruiz, and he was transported to a local hospital for injuries suffered during the crash before being booked into the Orange County Jail. Charges: fleeing and attempting to elude, driving without a valid license, possession of drug paraphernalia. What started as a traffic stop turned into a two-county chase that ended hard. He kept running, but eventually the road ran out. On April 17, 2026, in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, multiple agencies were searching for 35-year-old Ricky Lee Ray, who was wanted in connection to a shooting investigation. Troopers later spotted a vehicle linked to Ray near Dollarway Road and attempted a stop, but the driver refused to comply and took off.
Okay, he's not stopping. I'm taking the we're going off Vaughn Avenue, headed towards Peach Street. Gonna be making a right on Juniper. Right on Juniper. Okay, we're going still on Juniper, crossing the railroad. We're going to pull and headed towards University. He's going down West 2nd towards University. Speed's 86. Still going east on 2nd. Come to Sherry Street. Bad Rick. Gonna be Walnut. Turn over, fire. Stay in 15. Hands, let me see your hands.
The chase came to an end at 2nd Avenue and Walnut Street when Ray blew through a stop sign and slammed into another vehicle. The impact flipped the truck onto its roof and sparked a fire, sending smoke pouring across the intersection. Troopers rushed in, put out the flames, and pulled Ray and another occupant from the wreckage before things got even worse. Ray was injured in the crash and taken into custody at the scene. Charges: battery in the 1st degree, possession of a firearm, fleeing and eluding, reckless driving. After running from officers all day, Ray's last attempt ended in flames, a flipped truck, and nowhere left to go. On April 26, 2026, in St. Francis County, Arkansas, Trooper Peoples spotted a blue Nissan Sentra flying down Interstate 40 at 94 miles per hour in a 75 zone. After initiating a traffic stop near the 247-mile marker, the trooper stepped out and approached the Nissan, where the driver claimed he didn't have a license and identified himself as Antoon Hester, a name investigators would later determine was fake. But as Trooper Peoples asked the driver to step out of the car, the traffic stop suddenly took an unexpected turn.
I got one taken off.
passing on the shoulder. TV at the where you at? 248. 249 westbound, eastbound. He's trying to run. TV out.
Near the 250-mile marker, trooper peoples performed a pit maneuver, sending the Nissan into a guardrail before it slid off the roadway and crashed into a ditch. The driver immediately bailed out and took off on foot, jumping over a fence and running through a field while the trooper chased behind him. Trooper peoples attempted to stop him with a taser, but the suspect kept running, clearly hoping cardio would solve his problems. After running out of options near a fence line, the suspect finally gave up and was taken into custody without further incident. He was later identified as Brendan Durr, and troopers later found a bag of ammunition inside the Nissan, but no firearm. His escape attempt covered speed, property damage, and a short track meet, but it still ended in handcuffs. Charges fleeing and eluding, reckless driving, driving without a license, obstruction, traffic violations. What started as a speeding stop turned into a crashed Sentra, a foot chase through a field, and thousands of dollars in damage. He outran the traffic stop, just not the consequences. 2024, in Sumter County, Florida, Trooper David Ramos was heading west on Oak Street when a black BMW 330i with noticeably dark tint passed through the intersection on Jackson Street. When Ramos followed the car and pulled into a driveway to conduct a stop, the BMW crept forward, stopped, crept forward again, and then did what most BMW drivers do in these videos. It took off northbound. Ramos activated his sirens and notified the Tampa Bay Regional Communications Center that the pursuit was underway. The BMW began running stop signs like it was allergic to octagons, cutting through yards, hopping streets, and looping the same blocks like the driver was stuck in a low-budget GPS reroute. By the time it hit US 301, the car was doing 110 miles per hour in a 35 zone and using the center turn lane to pass stopped traffic, a move that definitely didn't come from the defensive driving handbook. At this point, the BMW wasn't fleeing, it was freestyling. Ramos stayed close, waiting for the moment Underwood finally ran out of creative escape routes. The driver, later identified as Marlon Daquan Underwood, bailed out and surrendered after a short foot chase. Underwood was arrested and medically cleared before being taken to the Sumter County Jail. The pickup kept weaving back and forth between lanes as troopers stayed behind with lights and sirens activated, but the driver showed no signs of slowing down. At several points, the truck came dangerously close to oncoming traffic, forcing other drivers to react at the last second just to avoid a head-on collision. As the chase moved closer to an active construction zone with workers nearby, it was clear the situation was getting worse quickly and needed to end before someone got hurt.
I copy. I was just side by side with him, and he's disregarded me completely. He almost went head on again with the vehicle. My clean TVI.
Knocking command 50, what's our speed?
5 out of 11. Speeds are at 65, 60 to 65. We're slowing down now. Now we're approaching construction zone.
Same permit, you can tell me for the construction zone. Break. Montrose command 50, get that 600 phone and on the radio.
I copy.
I'm en route, but I'm from Fort Hill by the port.
I copy. Break 5 of 11. Are you going to TBI?
I just attempted TVI. I missed. I'm going to reattempt.
For Mason Marshal's office, can you hear me? Let's set up for talk.
Put your hands up! Montrose 5 out of 11. Successful TVI. One at gunpoint. Put your hands up! Show me your hands! Put your hands out of the vehicle! Step out of the vehicle! Put your hands in the air! Turn around and face away from me! Stop right there! Turn around and face away from me! Get down on your knee! Walk your hands out in front of you and lay on your stomach. Put your hands out to your sides. Cross your ankles. Put your heels to your butt with your legs crossed. Do not move. Do you understand? Yes.
Troopers first attempted to stop the truck with a tactical maneuver, but the driver managed to keep going, and with the construction zone getting closer, officers moved in again for a second attempt. This time the maneuver worked, bringing the pickup to a stop just before it could enter the active work area where crews were present. Officers then took the driver, later identified as an 81-year-old man, into custody without further incident. Investigators say he now faces charges including DUI, reckless driving, and vehicular eluding. The chase ended there, and probably gave everyone on Highway 160 a story they weren't expecting that morning. Charges DUI, reckless driving, vehicular eluding. What started as a wrong-way driver call nearly turned into something much worse. Thankfully, troopers stopped it before the construction zone became part of the story, too. In Savannah, Georgia, a trooper spotted a maroon Nissan Altima tailgating another vehicle before clocking it at 83 and a 55 on Interstate 516. When the trooper tried to stop the car, the driver exited onto Gwinnett Street, blew through a stop sign, and took off. The Altima tore through city streets, running stop signs and pushing deeper into Savannah at high speed. Troopers tried a pit maneuver once, but the driver managed to keep going. As the chase moved closer to more populated roads, officers knew they needed to end it quickly before somebody got hurt. The chase finally ended after a second pit maneuver spun the Altima around and brought it to a stop. But even then, things weren't over. One of the passengers jumped out, dropped a handgun onto the roadway, and disappeared into the night before officers could catch him. The driver, later identified as Shakur Benton, was taken into custody without further incident. While being detained, Benton admitted he ran because he had just smoked some weed. Troopers said he smelled strongly of marijuana and didn't exactly seem too stressed about how the night was going. A search of the Altima uncovered multiple handguns, including one that had been reported stolen, along with marijuana, a scale, and a holster bag. Benton was later transported for a blood draw before being booked into the Chatham County Detention Center. Charges: felony fleeing, driving under the influence, theft by receiving stolen property, reckless driving. He ran from a speeding stop, but the inside of that Altima told the real story. Undercover units, the driver kept pushing forward with no intention of stopping.
Getting off of Illinois. Southbound Illinois from 94. Yeah, okay. Coming up to Schaefer, taking a left on Schaefer. Left on Schaefer. Crossing traffic, getting on northbound 75. Northbound 75.
With the suspect continuing to flee, the pursuit was eventually terminated before things became even more dangerous, and for a short time the driver managed to get away. But that didn't last forever, as DEA agents and Michigan State police detectives later located the abandoned suspect vehicle and towed it in for further investigation. The driver avoided arrest that night, but leaving the vehicle behind didn't exactly make the investigation any smaller. In Haralson County, Georgia, deputies attempted to stop a black Honda on I-20 after noticing it had no tag, but the driver immediately took off and started driving recklessly at high speed, forcing deputies into a pursuit coming out of Alabama. As the chase moved eastbound toward Carroll County, Georgia State Patrol units moved in to assist, and by the time troopers caught up, the Honda was already flying through traffic at well over 100 miles per hour. Near mile marker 18, troopers finally found an open stretch and moved in for a pit maneuver, sending the Honda off the roadway and disabling it on the shoulder. But when officers reached the car, the driver had already bailed out and disappeared into the area on foot, and even with K9 units searching nearby, he wasn't found that night. Officers later identified the driver as Lenny Davis Brown through paperwork left inside the Honda, and about an hour and a half later, deputies spotted him walking near a Pilot gas station in Temple. Brown tried running again after being confronted, but that didn't last long as deputies caught him near a McDonald's after a brief foot chase. The pursuit finally ended there, and after 2 attempts to get away, he still ended up in cuffs. Charges: fleeing and eluding, reckless driving, driving without a tag, obstruction. What started as a missing license plate turned into a chase across multiple counties. He got away once before, but not this time. On March 3, 2021, in Clayton County, Georgia, a Georgia State trooper stopped a car on Interstate 675 near Double Bridge Road for illegally dark window tint. As the trooper stepped out and started approaching the vehicle, the driver suddenly took off down the emergency lane before any conversation could even happen. The driver was later identified as Nikeem Greaves, who was already out on parole at the time of the stop. What should have been a simple tint violation quickly turned into something much bigger.
Got one overturned, Atlanta. Bad wreck. Interstate shut down. Anybody in there? Get on the ground. Oh, stop. Get on the ground.
As the pursuit crossed onto the Interstate 75 overpass, Greaves slammed into several vehicles, causing one of them to overturn before his own car crashed against the concrete barrier and came to a stop. Troopers exited with weapons drawn and ordered him to keep his hands visible while officers carefully approached the disabled vehicle. After a window was broken to gain access, Greaves was taken into custody without further incident. Medical crews responded to check on everyone involved in the crash, including Greaves, who later complained of injuries and was transported to the hospital before being booked into the Clayton County Jail. Investigators also discovered he had multiple active warrants waiting for him before the chase had even started. The chase ended at the barrier wall, but his problems were only piling up from there. Charges: fleeing and eluding, reckless driving, hit-and-run crash involvement, failure to maintain lane, outstanding warrants, parole violation. What started as a traffic stop for window tint ended with a wrecked interstate and multiple warrants catching up all at once. He escaped the tint citation, but not much else. Thanks for riding the adrenaline wave with us here at Mind Rush. If you're hungry for more heart-pounding action and edge-of-your-seat excitement, don't go anywhere, because we're just getting started. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more mind-blowing moments coming your way soon.